Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll find so that's it's a nice little loop there, man, and it's just off this Blues for Miles Davis by this Italian soundtrack producer, recorded in Rome, 1967, and it's nice. Like, I've just got back from Italy and I went digging out there, and they had like a whole Italian soundtrack section, and that's my vibe, man. Because a lot of people, you know, that stuff is not on YouTube, and like, I rate people. I used to hate it when people, like, you know, a lot of people dig off YouTube nowadays, but it's kind of what I was saying earlier, is like, someone said to me and it gave me a whole new perspective on it, and they're just making use of what they have, do you know what I mean? But the reason I like digging from vinyl, one of the reasons is that's not on YouTube, do you know what I mean? No one's going to be able to find that unless they've bought the record, and you have to have like a certain kind of knowledge, or you pick up the knowledge through digging, basically. And yeah, so a lot of these like rare Italian soundtracks are real nice. They've got like nice little breaks on, and yeah, so I found that sample, and what I'll do is I'll speed it up to 45 on the deck, and then record it in. That weren't even the bit. Let me see. It's difficult to hear sometimes when you've got it on the 45, because it speeds up and it's like, there's some real nice bits on this. I might just flip that actually. Right. Right, so then I got it in there. And then I could slow it back down, and because it's because like a lot of producers back in the day, because they'd only have a certain amount of sample time, that's why they'd speed it up to 45 to record it in and then slow it down. I've actually got like an upgrade, which means that I've got quite a lot of space on it, but I still do that because sometimes it can add like a nice little kind of a little bit of a dissonance, a little bit of a graininess to the sample. So yeah, so I've got this now. What I'll probably do is I'll just see how it runs with these drums I just made. So yeah, it's a little, and then the joy of this is like, if you're just making it in the box, especially in GarageBand, you can't really, a lot of the time stretching stuff's real difficult to make it sound real nice, but because of this, you can literally, I could slow this down to whatever I want really, so it could just even be like, sounds fucking horrible, but I'll speed it up as high as I want. And that's what I'll do, is if I'm gonna see how it sounds through this, and then I'll probably put it through the SP, just adds like a real nice grittiness to it. But let's see what this is saying first. Cool. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna run it through the SP. I don't usually sequence in the SP. It's got like 8-9 second sampling time, which is quite difficult to work with, and I need to have a proper go at it to properly, make use of it. But at the moment, I just I run things through it for that kind of sound, mostly drums, but also sample, just to give it that like real kind of gritty, nice sound. So yeah, the other thing about the SP is it's only got like 2.5 seconds per pad sampling time. So what I've had to do is I've sped the sample up that I've got from the MP real fast. So it's like, so that will hopefully fit in 2.5 seconds, and then I can slow it back down again in the SP. So I'll just sample that. So let's hope that got it. I think it might have even been a tiny little bit too slow, which is mental. Sometimes I just chop it back into 2 sections, so then I can do it, because sometimes it sounds a little bit too gritty. But so that's got that real like, because it's got a real low bit rate through this sampler. I mean, originally they were like used for a lot of like Detroit house and that kind of thing, and then yeah, I think a lot of the hip hop heads just kind of had use of them and did what they could with them, which is sick. So I'll just record this in. So we've got that. So that's way too fast still. Still too fast. Cool, so I'm happy with that, so then I'll just record this in quick. It's quite nice as well, like sometimes having the sample just dragging a little bit, so it's just like a tiny little bit, especially when the drums are like, they're not all quantized, and it just gives that like whole natural feel to it, instead of it just being completely bang on like it would if you used a DAW sometimes, like Logic or whatever. And then this is kind of where it gets a little bit interesting, is where for the bass line I learnt this off a guy called Cloud9, who basically taught me how to use the MPC. And what I do is I get a kick drum, just put it on here. So that's the kick, and then sounds well nice, but fucking can't see a thing. And then I loop it. Right. Try to get So like with the kick, I've just got, you can see it, and it's got it's basically just a sound wave, and it just goes up and down on the main line. And basically, if I cut it up and loop it, it will then give me like a bass note like that. So what I'll do is I'll then put that into a new sound, so then I can loop it, and then I can pitch it down and filter it, so then I'll put that on here and filter it. Might turn it up a little bit. So that's basically just a bass note, and then I'll just put it on 16 levels and fuck with it until it's in. That's where it gets difficult to kind of get it in key, because it's so I'll just give it a little whirl. And then what I can also do is, so the original sample, which is here, so you can filter out what I was doing on the Does Anybody Care track, filtering out the high end. You can do that. It's got a real nice filter on the MPC. And then slowly bring it back in. I fucked with this accidentally. There you go. That's why that was kind of out of time a little bit. So it's still there, but it's just real low, and then I can boost the low end of the bass, so then you'll just get like, I might even be able to do it on here a little bit, so you see what I mean. Yeah, it's a tiny little bit better. And then what I usually do is I just I bounce like a loop of it into Logic, and then I'll see what other sounds I can get over it. So I'll put this guy away for a little bit. Cool. Feel like it's such a nice day, man. Always sidechain the kick to the sample, man. Every time, just makes it like come through a little bit. Oh, I need to get a setup where I'm not constantly leaning over, man. My back is completely fucked. Where is it? Oh, compressor. Kick. And then what I usually do as well is I'll split this into two, so I've got two of the same thing, but I'm going to low pass one of them and then high pass the other. It's about 500. So then I've got, ooh, what's going on there? Oh, I've done the fucking wrong channel, didn't I? The sample's there because I just dragged it down. What a donut. Again. This is another thing I'm fucking bad at, is I should always name what the tracks are, but instead I've just got like audio 6, audio 5. Just gets confusing, man, and just fucking a lot of unnecessary hassle I put myself through. 485. Low past this one. Right, so now I've got, that's the low, a bit like what I was doing on there, but I just do it in here because it's one less thing to record in, and then you got the high end. So now, sidechain this. I hope no one watches this so they don't pick up all my techniques. Not that they're that fucking unique, do you know what I mean? I just picked up all this stuff from mates, mainly Mr. Slips, who just helped me out a lot. Because before I was just strictly MPC, and I used to record into a tape deck with like the wackest. It was like, it weren't even an interface, it was like, it was like a two big jack into USB. It was fucking awful. I'd love to find some of them tapes that I've got. I think I might have chucked them away. So yeah, let's do the kick. Then I'll probably boost the kick a tiny bit. So it's nice and weighty. See where it's coming through. And you've got this fucking bass. And there's this mad plugin which makes it fucking weighty, but sometimes it's a bit too much. See, with this stuff, like, I don't even know a lot, do you know what I mean? I just fuck around until something sounds alright. And then kick. Just add a little verb on that. Sometimes I put a little spectral gate on this. Sometimes I go a bit overboard with this though. Yeah, I'll fuck around with that a little bit more later, but for now that just means that I've got the basic beat there, and then I can try and add some other stuff to it. Sweet. So I got a sample of that Singers Unlimited record. It's just a little vocal sample in the back, and then I've just found this from a Ben Webster record. So I'm just going to take that